Disney Star Wars. We all know Disney Star Wars is one of the biggest failures of the past decade. Okay, for at the very beginning, it was successful. Okay, because people were excited because people were like, oh my god, Star Wars is coming back. One of the most popular and most iconic movie franchises. One of the most popular franchises overall is coming back. Okay, because Star Wars was once one of the most popular series of all time, but Disney turned Star Wars from a very successful series to a very loathed and hated series. It went from the success of the $2 billion Force Awakens made to the Star Wars TV shows being absolutely crowned on and hated. So, Star Wars Galaxy X is being replaced. Now the sequel trilogy is under threat. So Galaxy's Edge is going away. Who would have seen that coming? You know, if you made a Star Wars area, okay, why don't you make around the Star Wars that everybody loves? Okay, the original trilogy and maybe some prequel stuff thrown in, you know, because there are people who love the prequels. And maybe you can have a few sequel things, but make a main thing the original trilogy, okay? You know, the Star Wars series that everybody loves, okay? And, you know, because the Disney Star Wars is not really beloved, okay? And maybe put the Mandalorian in there as well, because a lot of people love the Mandalorian, and make it that the biggest representation of Disney Star Wars, because everybody loved the Mandalorian, okay? People love the Mandalorian so much they're giving us a Mandalorian movie to try to get Star Wars fans back into theaters. But the most hated entry in the franchise is and of course Disney Plus Star Wars Acolyte is still very hated. Okay, a lot of these Star Wars shows outside the Mandalorian have not really been very successful. Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka. You would think on paper these three shows would be extremely successful. Oh my god, if I would give us a Boba Fett show, if I would give us an Obi-Wan Kenobi show and a Ahsoka show, these are three very popular characters. Oh wait, Disney fumbled the bag on all three. And Acolyte may have collected more damage than the films as well. So yeah, the Acolyte, no one likes that show. No, even people who like the sequels didn't like Acolyte. No one liked that show. Okay, but the Star Wars sequel trilogy remains divisive. There are people who do love the sequel trilogy, but even if you love the hate the sequel trilogy, no one liked the Acolyte. No one liked the Acolyte. But when Lucasfilm removed the sequels from canon, okay, that force all that the problem with this, and my main problem with the sequel trilogy is that I don't think they really had. I agree with this. They didn't really have any sense of direction. If you watch the original, I watched all of them from 1 to 8 because I got all the Star Wars in like one collection. I watched them from 1 to 8, and 1 to 6 had a clear direction, a clear reason for those movies to exist. Even like the world of the sequel movies, which is episode 2, there's still a reason that movie is supposed to connect 1 and 2 together, 1 and 3 together, but even if the second movie isn't that great, but we're talking about the sequel trilogy, Star Wars will be in plan at Disney and Lucasfilm will reset or rewrite the sequels using the multiverse method. Many of us expect to see that Ahsoka re-into his concept as well, blah blah blah, But we build this galaxy revolves around rewriting Star Wars history. So apparently, not even Disney wants to acknowledge these movies anymore. Because the sequel trilogy is a failure, okay? The sequel trilogy is the only trilogy of Star Wars movies to actually decline by entry by entry by entry. So usually the Star Wars cycle goes like this. The first movie makes, the most amount of money, okay? The second movie does way worse than the first one. Actually the first one makes makes a decent amount of money. Second one does worse, but the third one usually makes the most amount of money. Usually, we're balanced from the second one. Okay, first one makes the most amount of money. That makes the most sense because it's the most hype. It's the return of Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars is so great. But then the third one usually makes more money than the second one. Okay, but the sequel trilogy was a decline. No one though people were saying that the Rise of Skywalker almost was not going to even hit $1 billion. It did somehow manage $1 billion, but it was barely scraping by. Okay, we built the galaxy. It seems that it's funny that Jar Jar Binks is returning. Okay, Jar Jar Binks is considered. You know how bad the sequel trilogy is that they're bringing back Jar Jar Binks. That's funny. They're bringing back Jar Jar Binks. Yeah. Okay. I think they're leaning into the memes of Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is this evil Sith Lord. That's what I'm seeing here. That Jar Jar Binks is a true mastermind, a true evil character. But it's funny they consider Jar Jar Binks a more important character. As what I hear, see from this here, that will never mean. But the legal side of things, the sequel trilogy is gone. The sequel trilogy is no longer canon. Disney's never gonna remove the sequel trilogy, obviously, because of course it's the woke trilogy. But again, in the Lego Star Wars, it seems that the sequel trilogy is not canon anymore. So, and they're bringing back. Okay, the funny thing is they consider Jar Jar Binks a better character than any of these sequel trilogy characters. That's perfect. Okay, before the sequel trilogy came out, Jar Jar Binks was considered the worst Star Wars character. But the sequel trilogy is so bad, and stuff like the Acolyte is so bad, that Jar Jar Binks is seen as the greatest character ever now, compared to anything by the sequel trilogy. Okay, which includes characters like Rose Tico. Okay, you know, what they always want to put the narrative that the actor of Rose Tico was harassed offline, blah blah. But maybe they, seeing it like these Star Wars actors see the world is the internet. People are going to hate you no matter what. Okay, people are going to send threats to you no matter what. Okay, even if you're the nicest and most kindest person, even if you're like the most beloved celebrity, people are gonna hate you. There's no possible way someone's not gonna hate you. Okay, and usually they're just trolls, but people don't like the sequel trilogy. Okay, but at least in the Lego side of things, Disney is removing the sequel trilogy from the Lego canon. Goodbye.